Bengal used to be a hub for artists. Artists used to come and get nourished here, and they used to share their opinions freely in a progressive manner. And nowadays, because of these fans, it's like an army. I won't call it an army because it's a disrespect towards army. It's a group of people influenced fans, and they are influenced in the wrong ways. And why the problem we are having? Because I just mentioned many times, in fact, since Rabindranath Tagore got the recognition, we want to attach the name with Rabindranath Tagore. Since Satyajit Ray got the recognition, we want to attach the name with Satyajit Ray. Rabindranath Tagore, we don't understand the ideals, the reason why he started everything, the love he gave to humanity, the works of art, the values and the ideals, he stood for. So we are not shaping new talents because we don't understand those ideals. We are always thinking about the name and the recognition and all these things. Hrithik Ghatak was a very good director, I just mentioned a while ago, but many people don't talk about it. A great director, artistic experience, artistic forte, if I say, a great director with artistic potential. Many people don't talk about him because he didn't get the recognition. But now youth should know about these directors. In film schools, we should talk about those directors. We should talk about those films, and you can learn so much from those films. Now it is like that. I will mention this thing because I just tried it, and I should share that with you. Maybe you have already got it. Not maybe, I have seen that you have already got it. But people who are in the middle, who are not even that far, who are not there yet, people who are struggling, work in progress. So people can get it, because suppose I am mentioning few things, and based on your own experiences, your own understanding, you are getting all those things, and we are having a communication. I am saying something, you are getting something, you are showing me that you are getting something, and we are having a communication. I can see that the communication has taken place. But here, you can talk about one thing 100 different times, they won't get it, because the communication is not the goal. The association is the goal. Realization of the ideals, the values, the wisdom, the purposes is not the goal. Even the feeling, the experience is not the goal. The association is the goal. So the fans of these people, the group of people, they are trained with that, and so that they do the narcissistic abuse and all these things. They are dealing with that continuously all the time. They don't even understand that the very thing takes you away from artistry. You can reach your best potential as an artist. These very things, they are taking you away from your artistry or your artistic development, your full potential as an artist, or something more than that. You can do so much. They don't understand it. They are playing games, they are playing gimmicks. So I can mention this thing. Tomorrow I may use a different set of combination of words, or maybe 10 minutes afterwards. After 10 minutes, I can use a different combination of words. They will look at the effect of the combination of words. I mentioned it yesterday, and they are continuously dealing with that. So I just tried it, I can tell you that. I may say one thing in one particular way. After 10 minutes, I can use a different set of words, or maybe a different combination of words conveying the same meaning. But since we don't have the comprehension skills developed, which was very important in the initial stages, basic education, a part of your basic education, since you don't have comprehension, different combination of words, again after 10 minutes a different combination of words, but they are conveying the same meaning. They don't understand it. So what they are after another thing. That combination of words, they want to distort the meaning in a different way. Again, the dubbing culture. You will always go to the dubbing culture, and you will see the misinterpretation, dubbing, games and gimmicks. All these things are happening all the time with this mindset. Combination of words, you mention one thing, you convey that meaning. People who should be conveyed, people who should get it, they will get it. one group driven by that celebrity fan and all this communication bullshit, whatever it is. One combination of words distorting the meaning, totally different meaning sometimes, misinterpretations. After 10 minutes you use a different combination of words conveying the same meaning. What they will use? Misinterpretations, distortions, games and gimmicks. So we are not talking about that in Art 7. So that is the thing they are working at. So I started with that, aspect ratios I mentioned the emotional response, I mentioned the light and shadow effect, the combination of light and shadow, contrast and balance. So we are talking about all those things in a deeper manner, and if you have really studied it, if you have really gone through it, you can relate that. Especially if you have worked in the best professional way, you have got it. I can see that you have got it. But when we talk about these people, they are always playing these games. Why I am mentioning that again and again? This is the last time I am doing so before we go to the actual discussions in a different way. I mentioned in music, I mentioned in art, I am mentioning in photography and cinematography, or in visual arts too. Generally you will see visual arts is the easy way for them because they have a camera and they can shoot. But what they can shoot and how they are conveying, how they are telling a story, that is the thing. Anybody can buy a camera and anybody can shoot anything. Are you telling a story? Is it a great movie? Are you using the visual language? Are you using the visual communication? Again, games and gimmicks. What we are talking about, observing light, light memory. You are observing light. Sometimes we observe light for an entire day, for an entire month. How during the seasons the light is changing. We can do all those things. We can meditate on light. That's how we shape ourselves. That's how we shape ourselves and artists. This group will make fun of it. This group will make fun of it. And we don't even discuss, we don't even bother. The problem is, in other cultures, we have more people who can talk about it. And staying in Bengal, I can say that it's such a sad thing because I know what I know. I know what I talk about. But there are very few, almost none, very few people who can talk about it. When I talk about it, they can relate to it. When I maybe do a conversation, maybe they can relate to it. Especially if I use specific examples, they can relate to it. But so how the culture is going down, you have to think about that, how the culture is going down. The culture is going down because of you. You have been a part of it and you can save it too. When they are distorting the culture, they are using really social scientific principles. Social scientists, they are using sociological, anthropological techniques. I am mentioning you the cream of it, the very basis, the very best of it, the very basis of it. I am telling you all those things. You don't even know how to work on it. You don't even know how to do your bit in whatever way you can. You don't know all those things because you are continuously looking towards conformity. That celeb status is ruining you. This is the situation in India. It is not the position. Initially, in the initial stages, it used to be like that great people used to be celebrities. I mentioned few names. Great people used to be celebrities. So-called success, the real success, For many will relate to it. Nowadays, we have the success first. Then people try to sell them or people try to persuade them as similar to those people. Comparison, constant comparisons. But when you look at art, when you look at the work itself or the person, when you look at the person, when you look at the art, when you look at the talks, then you can understand whether the person really gets it or not. Then comes the recognition and all these things I already mentioned. For example, I mentioned, Kaji Nazrul Islam. There used to be a poet, a great poet. Many people don't even know about it. I mean, in the Bengali community, people know about him. A rebellious poet. Many people don't know about him. Many people don't even know why Rabindranath Tagore got this huge recognition, and he didn't even care for this recognition, because he was too much engrossed in the world, in the world of art, or in the experience itself. That is so much more rewarding. But he respected that. Some people are reading it somewhere, they are taking again the literal values, literally they are taking it. Okay, he didn't care for it, so we shouldn't care for it. Let's steal it. These things, I can tell you, those literal things. So that's the part of education, basic education you are missing out, and we all have to work on it. Now today I can talk about cinematography, today I can talk about visual arts and lighting. But compassion, empathy, respect towards artists, we have to understand all these things. We have to actually do all these things. The culture is created in such a way to be an artist is such a sin in many places in India. People are hiding and they are practicing their art. It should not be something very glamorous. Even if you are following a celebrity, if the celebrity is telling you to do so, it is not something really great. I mean, a kid will understand it. This is the situation. So don't follow the celeb status only, because that celeb status to fan, they are getting some people who can actually destroy their own culture, who can actually destroy their own things, and they won't understand it. While they are doing that, they are enjoying that. It's like when you are having recreation in the positive way, you can enjoy it. So they have figured out that too. So, but you are going to a path of self-destruction. So what are you doing? You are destroying the culture, but you are playing games and gimmicks. So you are getting joy out of that games and gimmicks. But you don't foresee things, you don't have the vision to see how is it taking me to my own self-destruction. And they are provoking that. What are you looking at? Okay, they have achieved so-called success or celeb status. They might be similar to those people. Since they are talking, they might understand. I have mentioned all these things. After a while, you see, okay, things have changed. Things have been very bad for a long time. We could feel that, but now things have changed. Sometimes we don't take action. For example, few years ago, I could see things. I could feel that something was going to be different. I didn't take the action because, I was too busy with my own stuff. I was too busy because I overestimated Indian art scenario in the current context or the contemporary context. I overestimated it. I thought they were up to great works. Glad I didn't choose them, but I'm proud of it, in fact, and many people will understand why. But I felt it, but I was too busy. So now I can see things, I can talk about things, and I have looked at things for a long time, and I know how the things are. But the best part, the advantage is, they are not that creative. They can be creative in self-destruction, they can be creative in destroying the culture, but they are not that creative in helping others. They are not that creative in improving others or improving themselves, in fact. Because if you know how to improve yourself, there will be an element, there will be something inside you that you will like to help others, depending on your style or depending on your personality. If you just want to do it on your own, only this, then you are not even shaping humanity, you are not even helping humanity, you are not even offering to humanity. You are showing that you are doing this and this, but ultimately in the end you know that you are depressed, you are frustrated. And sometimes many people are not even pulling the crowd, but they are so happy, they are so successful to their own in their own terms, They should not be there, something like that. But as an artist, sometimes many artists are introverts. You should respect that too. And sometimes we should take care of that so that they are doing their own works. Whenever they see an artist, they see Vincent van Gogh. Okay, then we need to find a Theo for him, then we will exploit him and he will die doing nothing. That is not the way of looking at things. Picasso, okay, I am rich, I am successful, that means I am Picasso. Or how many muses he or she is having. This is not how you look at art. This is the situation. Celebs and fans, subconsciously or in whatever things they are doing, this is getting communicated. You have to understand Picasso, Matisse, then Van Gogh, then your Monet I mentioned, Manet, and then your many painters. I can talk about Edward Munch, Gustav Klimt, then your Egon Schiele, and then your many people, many people. You have to understand it. So those superficial elements and those literal things they are putting more attention to. What can I talk about it? How? What do I want to do regarding this? You have to understand. Whatever I have mentioned, I have given you a lot of hints by far. A disconnect you will see, a disconnect, art, education, cinema. There is a disconnect. What is the disconnect? The disconnect is coming from few people who are having the disconnect in themselves. What is the disconnect? They are not having those experiences. They cannot have those experiences. They cannot enjoy things, They cannot enjoy love. They cannot enjoy those experiences. You can look at art and you can be moved by that art. Maybe you are not doing that kind of art, but you can learn so much from that art. Education, as I mentioned, you can have education from anything. You are having education. That is education. Not the schooling, but education you are having. Cinema, when you are making cinema, you are bringing those things. You are actually trying to tell a story the best way you can. You are actually giving people the cinematic experience. So you have a camera. You are giving them a cinematic experience. You want to use the visual language to tell the story. You want to use light to tell the story the best possible way. You are doing whatever you want to do for that purpose. Whatever you want to do for that purpose. Art, education, cinema, these three things are different. The moment you say that, again, celeb to fans, it is getting communicated. So-called celebs to fans. You are having that disconnect somehow. So, when you are making your stuff, you are doing those shallow stuff. What is the difference? They are having money doing their things. So they are saying that we are successful because we are doing this, we are having the money too. You are following them, you are doing your own thing, you are not having the money too. You are going through frustration, depression and all these things. Rather you follow the process, you follow the right thing, you follow your own instincts and intuition. You follow you follow the light. If you are dealing with light and cinematography, you follow that. It will teach you, because this is what is happening right there. Life is happening right in the moment. You don't have to look for someone else to tell you that. You just observe life, you just enjoy life. Live, you just live. You go out there and look at light. You go out there and look at people. Then you learn to write, you write. Whatever you want to write, you write. You are using words. The moment you are not living life, you are wanting to stay in a virtual world, you are robbing yourself of that experience, and you are telling people to not to have that experience. You are telling people not to have that experience. These are the reasons. Visually rich people, they are more vulnerable, because since they don't understand or they don't like great cinematography or great uh, visuals, what they will do, they will do an advertisement of a camera, that too a mobile camera or something like that, not even a DSLR. So overall the themes are like that, to hold the DSLR is such a great thing. Nowadays the people don't think about all those things. When you take a camera in your hand, changing the lenses, knowing when to use a 50mm, when to use a 150, when to use a 300mm, and changing your lenses, doing those decisions, doing the manual focus, using the manual mode, aperture, shutter speed, ISO, you are playing with all these things. A great thing for a cinematographer and a photographer. Now if you think of that situation, somebody is coming to you, okay, I am visually very good because I am wearing this dress, I am having this aesthetics, you understand, whenever I talk about cinematography, I might be someone who you can take very seriously. Then you gradually you figure out the things are not that disconnect, pollution in many ways. Now seldom we are very strict or rigid regarding our own compromises, but the more you are, the more you can observe them, and the more you can observe their frailties too, how they are playing those games and gimmicks, how they are using their tactics to persuade and all these things. You can observe, then you can help others too. So if you have not done anything, if you have seen those people in the culture, if you have seen those celebrities, if needed, so-called celebrities, in India I am talking about Indian context, and share it with people so that other people should know about it too. I am mentioning very specific things like aspect ratio, numbers, this and that. I mean just permutation and games and gimmicks, permutation, combination, games and gimmicks. You have to understand what that frame should make you feel, how the frame should make you feel, what the frame is supposed to do, the composition, the movement, the choreography in the staging and all these things. You have to realize that thing, you have to feel it, you have to do the thing, you have to realize it. Maybe initially you are working with a small camera, but you are still looking at light. Light is there. We are not putting a price tag on light. You are observing light. Light is there. It is changing just the way it is during seasons, during the day and night, during other variations. Light is changing. You are just capturing light using different cameras. Today you have a small camera, tomorrow you are having a big camera, but light is there. You are observing light. So you should think about that. Or you can live in a virtual world where you don't want to see light. Everything has to be very manipulative, exploitative. You are doing a lot in visual effects. There can be many ways of making a movie, but what is the storytelling demanding? What is your approach to make the story, make the movie? What is your approach to tell the story? That is a lot. That can teach you a lot. That can help you a lot. Okay. So if you want to use advanced technologies to tell a story, you can do it in a better way using that in terms of scheduling, budgeting, financial constraints, in many other ways. Cost saving you can do. You want to do it in a way that can help you to tell the story in a particular way. You have taken those artistic choices. You can do that. You want to shoot in available light. You can do that. Especially I will mention one thing again and again. Look towards those advisors. The moment one so-called person is advising you using those games and gimmicks and tricks and techniques, you double test, you verify, you check whether those people really know their thing or not. Because generally you will see that you will trust because they want you to trust. You will get persuaded. Celeb status and the country brand and all those things, all those gimmicks and techniques can be the reasons, but ultimately you are getting persuaded. And if it is affecting your decisions, your cinematic decisions, they will enjoy that. They won't tell you because they will fight for you sometimes, but actually they are enjoying that because that was their purpose. So the more people are watching this, you tell people if you have gone through those experiences, because those people can be around you. In specific places there are more people like that, again the celebs and fans, so you can observe that too. You can specifically ask who do they follow, what is their taste, specifically, explicitly, and then you can go for more deeper questions, where you are not making things explicit, rather you are making it more covert or implicit, but you are getting the information. Celebs and fans, it's a big thing, if you want to do art, if you want to do great movies, if you want to do great big budget movies with a lot of revenue and profit, they're against that too, actually. So if you want to do great movies with great revenue and profit, so for that reason too, if you want to make great artistic movies, you can make that too. Talk about these people, their characteristics, their personalities. The more you talk about it in different ways, whichever way you can, the more people know about them. They will not be able to distort your decisions. They will not be able to distort your choices in cinema. Even if you go through one or two mistakes or one or two decision making choices, you can make it right again. We can all make things right again. And know when to reject them, know when to take the creative things from them, know when to manage them. You can do it better. Depending on your styles, you can do that. But know these things exist, because they thrive on ignorance and innocence. The more you don't know about all these things, they will play with all these things more, and they don't have any guilt, they don't have any sense of conscience. So the more you are unaware of it, ignorant, regarding this, the more they will play, and they won't hesitate. They will continue playing, because distorting cinema, taking people out of that cinematic experience, taking people out of that storytelling experience, that is what they are after. That is what they are after. Maybe they will add a success in terms of finance, they will add a success in terms of numbers to justify their action or justify their thing. But I am talking about cinema more than that justification. Why should you have that justification in first place? You are making the movie the way you want to make it, a great experience, then you are using the business principles, to take it to people. Obviously you are having a lot of revenue and profit. You are taking strategic choices to take it to more people. You are doing all those things, but not gimmicks and games only, not driven by that only. After 10 years, maybe you will repent. How could I make this movie? If you know about all these things, you won't repent. Okay, I made this movie, I learned from it. Now I can create something which can be a lot better, so that I can tell through cinema that these things are not that important. We can do a lot better. There is another trick you will understand. Many people have already got it, and many people will understand. Suppose they are doing it to you, they will use other people. It may be your cast and crew, it may be other people involved in the project. Suppose they are distorting your things, they are messing with your things, and they will try to take support. People from your cast and crew, and people from people who can be easily persuaded, people who can be easily influenced. I get it, we all get it, but those are the tricks they are playing. That's their trick, so that they can use those blames and excuses, they can justify too. So all those games and gimmicks and all those tricks and techniques, for many reasons we cannot talk about all those things, but we are professionals, no matter whatever we do, so we know how to deal with that. So that's the thing, you know.